Yeah, so I started my career in Japan, actually, of all places, in this world of film and action and media. I had no intention of ever doing that, but at the young age of 19, I moved to Japan, and out of a means to sort of make money, I was told to go register with modeling agencies in Tokyo because it was sort of the trend to use foreign faces in catalogs and to help sell Japanese products on TV commercials and these kinds of things. And they said, yeah, you could actually do pretty good. And at the time I was working in a warehouse on an army base, making minimum wage, and I wasn't making a lot of money to support myself. So just basically out of a means to support myself, I went and registered with these agencies and got called and started the modeling thing. And I was like, wow, I can make money at just standing here and not lifting heavy things. This is great. I just have to smile. That's easy. Okay. But before that, I was really shy, and I never thought that it was never something I ever wanted to do or seeked out. It wasn't something I seeked out to do. And sort of doing that, getting a couple gigs in that arena, started paying the bills, and then I was just not satisfied. I was like, okay, it's nice to stand here and smile, but I want to do something. And then I was a huge Jackie Chan, Power Rangers, Japanese anime fan at the time, and I sort of started to see the crossovers of standing in front of a camera and smiling and actually doing something like these guys, and I'm like, wow, so this whole film medium is something that's I never conceived or had any ideas that I'd ever be in the films. But then I guess getting this chance doing the modeling and being in front of a camera sort of got me a step closer in that idea that it's a possibility. So then I had a friend who was training at Toei Action School, Action Club actually. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays he'd go down and train in gymnastics and karate, and he told me that he was doing that, and I said, that sounds awesome, because I told him I wanted to study gymnastics, and he asked me why, and I said, well, for film, because I wanted to get good at like Jackie Chan and do gymnastics. And he said, well, I've got something for you. I'm training at the Toei Action School with these guys, and we train in like henshin poses and fight choreography, and I said, that's perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And this is, I mentioned earlier, so the guy who was one of the main teachers there was Green Flash from, I think from Flashman. And he was, one of the teachers at the school, and there was others there. Several of them were already working on the Sentai and the Tokusatsu series that were already going on at the time. And it's funny because I started training with these guys and I loved it. I was eating it up. I'm like, wow, I get to do martial arts and I get to practice rolling and gymnastics and eventually one day maybe I can be in an action movie. Wouldn't that be cool? And sure enough, just a few months after my started training, I got called to do an audition for a TV show called B-Fighter Kabuto. And I was so excited that this opportunity even existed, because up until the time, that just for foreigners in Japan, that just never happened. There was no, the only types of jobs for foreigners in Japan were commercials and modeling gigs, and there was nothing action at all. So I super stoked just to get even the call the audition, and I went to the audition, and there were some veteran Japanese, I should say, Gaijin or Americans who had been living in Japan for a while and had been on TV before and spoke fluent Japanese, and I known who they were, hadn't known them personally, but I was like, oh, these guys, all right, they're probably going to get it. They have more of a name, I should say, than I do, and I was nobody. I was just some guy. to model. Because I'd been training at Toei Action School, and I had watched, I was an avid Kamen Rider fan at the time, and I knew the original Kamen Rider's henshin pose, which I kind of forgot it now, but with the belt, he did this, something or another, and I pulled it off at the audition. And I guess none of the other guys really knew that. Some of the other guys had martial arts experience, but they didn't have the henshin pose. I was very proud of my henshin pose. And I think at the audition they were kind of taken by surprise. Wow, this white guy, he knows these henshin poses. And I was like, yeah, and I'm going to Toei Action School. And they're like, what? Where did you come from? And I went to a callback later, and I ended up getting the part. So from that moment on, I really got involved. I mean, I was a big fan of the Sentai series and the Tokusatsu series at the time. In the prior, Kamen Rider, and even before the whole stuff, I was both in America. I'd watched Power Rangers before I moved to Japan, and then getting to Japan and seeing the original show, which seemed to have a little more violence, and they could actually kick people in the head and blow things up, and it was a lot more exciting to watch. So I was stoked, and then I got my first day on the job. I remember, transforming and jumping on a trampoline and punching the bad guys in the face, and it was like, this is it. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I don't want to go back to the modeling thing. I don't want to do anything else but this for the rest of my life. And in some form or fashion, motion capture, everything else, that's what I've been doing. I've been wearing spandex, and I've been kicking the bad guys' butts. That's how it started, and and now it's just been living the dream ever since.